Hello everyone, George here, and we're back in my implementation of Five Nights at Freddy's, and things have changed a lot, as you've seen in the last few videos. I am right now inside of Unity. Previously, we had Maya open and we had exported out a new level. The problem is now that we need to start bringing in some of the assets we've already created from earlier videos into the latest level and make that stuff work. Now, the asset that's most important for us to bring in right now is the body asset. Why? Because that encapsulates both our movement scripts as well as the ability to hold or have a head that is attached to the Vive, as well as a left and a right controller. So why don't we go ahead, grab our body, go down to our prefabs folder, and then drag it into there so we have something that we're working with at this point. I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. We're going to go back to our other scene now, which is currently under test free roam layout. Double click that to load it up. Whoops, wrong thing, not that. This is what we want. There's our scene, and we can go ahead and drop our body in from our prefabs folder. So let's go to body, click drag, and there we are. Yeah, and what we need to do now is start testing things. So there are probably going to be quite a few issues, things like the timer not existing, power graphics, usage graphics, and so forth. I believe those required some sort of a manager to actually function. But why don't we go ahead and hit the play button, see what happens, and deal with it as they come. So play. Here we go, bunch of null references. Let's stop it really quick. So not sent to an instance of an object, Vive right controller start, Vive controller left, update, update, update. Object, so this is from controller, really? Do I not have, Vive is open, but it's not ready. So let me grab the controllers and just make sure they're on and ready. Not that I should have gotten that from them, but we'll see what happens. Okay, both of those are now on. Of course, Steam fails. Steam VR sucks, if you ask me. I feel like they haven't put enough time in their product. So, yeah, we're going to hit VR on my Steam account really quick. Let that start back up and see how it goes. Headset is not connected properly. I got my headset right here, and most likely the HDMI cable is not connected because I probably did something with it recently. So let's see here if I can connect that back in, and then we might need to restart the Vive altogether. Okay. And that was it. The HMD cable was not connected. That's because I had recently dual booted Linux on here, and I found out that running 3 4K screens plus a Vive on it would not let anything work, basically. So I had to disconnect everything. We're going to go ahead, remove that, bring up Steam again, and we're going to do VR again and see if we can't get it to run. And everything kind of crashes on us real quick. Black screens everywhere. And let's hope. There we go. Okay, so headset not tracking. That's better. And I do not want to sign into my HTC account. Headset is still not tracking for some reason. No, please. No. 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 Thank you. All right. Still says it's not tracking. I don't know why. I have the thing held above my head. Close that. I'm just assuming that... Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me grab both and throw them up in the air. All right, everything's tracking now. I'm going to put them down. Clear that out really fast. Hit run. See what happens. And we still get the we still get nulls. So let's go ahead, double click the error, open the script up in Visual Studio, take a look at what's going on. So Vive input. So what is this? Vive controller, right? Vive input.getInstance. Oh, we don't have a Vive input probably within our scene. That's probably the issue. So let me look up Vive input. That's our script right there. Is that a prefab? Does not look like it. Okay, so here's Vive input. Turn this off. Let's go to game object, create empty. I'm going to call this Vive input. Move our Vive input script onto there. And now we should have access to that static method. I'm going to hit run, see if we get rid of a bunch of errors, and still lots of errors. Let's see what's going on. Vive input.getInstance.on button down, right trigger.onUse. So that's in start. And here we have Vive input. I didn't put the script on it like a moron. All right, Vive input. There we go. Now all of our errors should disappear. Null reference exception, object reference not set to an instance of an object, power graphic.update. So the power stuff still needs to be dealt with. You'll notice we fell right through the floor because we have no colliders on anything at the moment. I am going to grab the layout of the level. So let's see here, actually. How do I do this? So a lot of objects are separate objects. We have one that is the layout. I think that's it. We're going to make that the mesh collider. Add component, mesh collider, and we're going to set it to be itself, which is exactly what we have there, p-cube1. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. Everything should be fine. It is not convex. We're not triggering anything. It's just there for collision detection. I'm going to hit run now, see if we fall through it. We do not fall through it. We are actually right there in the level. So it's probably a good idea now to see what controls actually map over. We're still getting errors on the power graphic.update. And what we probably want to do is I'm going to double click that, open up the script, and here in update, we continually grab the power manager instance, which is probably a bad idea. I don't know why I would do that there. So why don't we do this instead? We're going to move that into start. We're going to create a public or private power manager PM, and that is going to get set there. And then we'll do an if PM does not equal null. That way we don't get errors all the time. We will do the following. We will do everything. Yeah, that should be just fine as it is. And we can do a check here really quick. If PM is equal to null, let's just do a one printout. So we'll do a debug.log, and then we'll do missing power manager from scene. That way, at least I know when I'm moving between different scenes that I failed to add the power manager, which is a required element. Okay, so we're going ahead and clear that out. We're going to hit run. And missing power manager from scene, and we don't have errors anymore, which is great. So I wonder, can we freely walk around? And I have my two controllers right here, and I am clicking the buttons, and it looks like the camera is responding. Let me go ahead and try to put the headset on and see what happens. Oh my gosh, did my Vive headset break? Uh-oh. This could be bad. Does that snap on easily? Uh-oh. That goes there, and that goes there. And there. Okay, good. It does slide. Whew. I was worried that I was going to make a big problem happen there. But we're good. Okay, so I have my controller, and I can move with my right hand, and that's wherever I decide to point it. Granted, I am sitting down at my desk right now, which is why things are kind of, uh-oh. Wait a second. Is it where I'm looking? It's where I'm looking, which is not what I want. I want where my controller is pointed, so we're going to have to change that. But anyway, movement still works, and it looks like, of course, the arcade boxes don't have colliders on them, but I should stop. I do stop when I hit this stuff. Of course, the head is still a problem with going through things. So that's going to be an issue we've got to deal with at some point. The walls might be too thin, because the body stops there, but the head keeps traveling through. So something for us to think about. All right, but anyway, the controls came over probably without any real hitches. Everything works for the most part, so that's not a problem. So great. Okay, so we can turn that off now. Now what I do want to do is open up my description of all the stuff that I have to do so I keep on track. So let's go to, oh boy. All right, so goals. Body movement with controller. We were able to steal that from the previous area, so that's good to go for the most part, although we do need to change to head movement, not no, excuse me, change to controller movement. Let's do that right now, really fast. So that's going to be contained within the body itself and most likely the controller. I think it's the right one that controls direction. So we have a hand, controller right, Vive controller right. We're going to open that up real fast. Take a look here. So here's all of our stuff. On use stay, on use end, trigger. So that's interacting with objects. Where do I... Up, down, right. That's not what I want. All right, what about left? What does left have? Body, movement controls. There we go. So let's see. So we get the instance of Vive, we get the button right trackpad press, and then we move forward by the main camera or that particular camera. And this is not what we want. We actually want to grab the right controller and do all this kind of stuff. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to keep the script on the body and get a reference to that thing? Or do we want to put this thing on the controller and grab a reference to the body? I'm going to go with the body for right now because it makes more sense that the body is controlled by a script that's on it, and I will probably remember that easier in the future. So we'll go with that. So I need to grab the body or the right controller hand. So here's grabbing the Vive stuff, but I need the actual direction that the object or the mouse is pointing or the controller is pointing. So if we go to Vive input, can I actually get that from Vive input? I can't remember if I have a get direction. So there's a get device quaternion. So let's try get device quaternion and see if that works for us. So we'll still do Vive input.getInstance. We're still getting that, but then we're going to grab the Vive input.getInstance. We still want that too, but this part changes. Instead of the forward and the right, we want to do... Oh, I can't grab them directly from the quaternion, can I? Because I want the vector 3 forward. I want to grab off the object itself. So what is the object? If we go to the head, we have controller right. And I want to grab that object is directly being controlled by the Vive device tracker script for the right hand that I put together. I want to grab its world coordinates, don't I? So I want to grab this reference here. So it might be a good idea to make a public static Vive controller right Vive or instance. And then inside of awake, void awake, set that equal to it. So instance equal to this, and then grab that where I need it. And where I'm going to need that is in the movement controls. So here, do Vive, or let's see, what is it? Vive controller right dot instance dot transform dot forward, and the same thing for the right vector. Now I've got those two. This should work fine with the mathematics we already have put in place, and it shouldn't be an issue anymore. Okay, so now let's go back to Unity, see if there are any errors. Looks like we're good at the moment. Let's go ahead and hit run. Put on my headset and grab the controllers, which have turned off. And one of my controllers does not track right now, so there we go. And try to move. And movement is now controller centric. It's probably hard to tell from your view, but as I move the controller around, that's the direction we're actually moving in. And I want this so that you can kind of look left and right and then put the controller in a direction, whoops, and then, you know, check stuff out, move around, look at it again, and then keep moving for the gameplay. More of a, you know, a spy, not spy game, but kind of a stealthy game where you're trying not to get caught. I keep losing tracking on that. But anyway, you're also going to have your cameras right here that you can flip through, which might make the game too easy. I don't know yet. But once we add more items in here and make things bigger, maybe stuff will make more sense. We might end up making things larger, the actual entire place. So I can't move through that. That is the... Oh, wait. So wait. What's going on here? So that's the wall. And I have a break for some reason. My body might be offset from my head. I actually don't know. I'll have to look at that really quick. Is there any way out of this room? Yes, there's a door, or is there not? Well, we're going to have to cut this stuff up anyway. There shouldn't be a way out of this room. I don't know why I can get through it, but I can for some reason. Actually, I'm stuck. So it's definitely my head getting through things first. Okay. Anyway. So colliders are kind of wonky. We're going to have to go in and fix that stuff. We're going to have to cut the stuff up. That's probably next on our plate. But at least we got things moving. We got a crappy collider attached to things, and we got the controllers working properly like we want them to as well. All right, I think that does it for this video. We got the basic controller in place. We can move around, and yeah, that pretty much sums it up. I'm going to see you in the next video where we're going to jump in and start tackling, I don't know, maybe the doors, or maybe we're going to start handling the colliders. What do we actually have to do next? Let's see. Collision detection to prevent body movement. We've kind of got that going. Things are a little bit messed up. Let's see if we can fix that actually really quick right now. I'm going to go to the body, hit F, and just take a look at where the camera is in reference to that. Now this, oh, whoops, let's turn it off. So the camera itself is at 0, 0, 0, it looks like. Therefore, it's my personal offset in my play space that's causing this discrepancy. So I would have to go back in and fix my play space to make that actually something that works properly. It has nothing to do with anything else being set up improperly. Okay, so that's good to know. Everything's okay there. Everything else looks fine. I want to hit apply, make sure that that's the same. We do have to bring in some of the other features, but they're really not important just yet. All right, so what comes after that? So that's collision detection, sort of is working. We're going to put a slash to that for the moment, and that is going to be like a adjust colliders in Maya type thing. Working doors to allow movement. So I guess the next thing we will do is working doors to make things so that we can push them open or close. And I'm not quite sure how I want to handle that. Now, before I do end this video, it's probably a good idea for us to go ahead and grab every instance of a door. And am I missing a door? I'm missing a door right there. Do you see that? Okay, well, we're going to leave that one for now. Who knows? Maybe that door is out of commission. We'll deal with it in the future. We're going to add component and box collider. There we are. And we want to leave it as a simple box collider surrounding that object so that we collide with it, and it prevents us from moving through from place to place, which means we have to get those things working in the next video. Hold on a second now. These look kind of crap. Let's take a look also at my test export, test free roam layout. We're going to come here, and there's no textures, but there are materials. And click on the button to extract the materials. I'm going to wait on that and do another export, I think, with the embedded objects in the next video, so we have textures. Anyway, I will see you next time. So long, everyone. Have a great day or night or evening or whatever it happens to be in your area. So long, goodbye.